Hello and welcome to another video. Today we will sadly finish our series on picking your legions, but that just means we have more space for other videos. So we start off with the 15th Legion, Thousand Sons. The Sons of Prospero were unmatched masters of the war that fell because of the hubris of their Primarch Magnus. The Thousand Sons, as mentioned before, are a legion of psykers that made their few numbers count through their mastery of the warp. In gameplay terms, they enhance their infantry with a certain cult arcana that give them boni like rerolling once while shooting if they stood still, or improve their invulnerable saves. This basically means that the Thousand Sons infantry is better than their counterparts from other legions, but the buffs don't apply to their vehicles, which means they usually struggle against tanks. They also have two ways to paint them. One is a brighter red with white details and a golden trim, or a metallic candy red with white details and golden trim, which is best achieved through a metallic base coat with a clear red paint. The Thousand Sons are one of the stronger legions at the moment, so you might not always want to take the strongest units to keep people playing with you. The 16th Legion, Sons of Horus, rose the highest and fell the deepest. The ambition of the War Master Horus resulted in the Imperial Dream to be crushed under power-armored boots. The Sons of Horus have always led the Legion in innovation and success. The nature of the Sons of Horus makes them exceptionally deadly in close range if it's firefights or melee. So rules wise, you look at gaining +1 BS when you fire rapid fire weapons, assault or pistol weapons. You don't gain these bonuses on snap shooting or using Fury of the Legion, so you're not doubling your shots and gaining +1 ballistic skill when you use Fury of the Legions. Or you get an extra attack if you outnumber the enemy at initiative 1 of combat, and this does not apply to unwieldy weapons, so power axes, power fists, and whatever other unwieldy weapon do not gain another attack. So this makes the Terminator Elite pretty useful. So for example, Terminators count as 2 models in melee. So if you fight against, let's say, a tactical squad, I don't know why you would do that, but imagine your Terminator squad has lightning claws, and you outnumber them, you gain an extra attack, which is pretty good. In addition, they can reroll reserve saves, reserve rolls, successful and unsuccessful. So that means if you roll for a unit to appear on the battlefield and you don't want them to be there, for example, if it's a successful roll, then you can just reroll and see if the unit does not come in via deep strike. Or if you want a unit on the battlefield and you rolled for them to not come onto the battlefield, you can also reroll that, which is very good. So the color scheme of the Sons of Horus is a sea green color scheme with black accents and golden trim, while the first company wears black and red. So I've seen a couple of different Sons of Horus color schemes. The one that GW has with the kind of deeper sea green, or the one that you've seen in one of my videos where it's a very pale sea green that's bordering on the grey, which is also pretty nice. And also like the Justarian and the other First Company members. Not all Sons of Horus are, not all First Company Sons of Horus are Justarian. They just wear the black and the red with some green details. Then we come to the 17th Legion word bearers. They always were the masters of faith on both sides. Unquestioned loyalty turned into bitter hatred after the shaming on the Monarchia. Lorga Aurelian, the Urizen, made a choice that would plunge his legion into the arms of dark powers. Opportunist Erebus and Cor Pharon shared their dark belief with their father in his bitterness, and casting aside their loyalty, embracing the great enemy and serving their ends. On the battlefield, the word bearers use sorcerers and the aid of demons, but also have high morale due to them being fanatics. Their special units usually are melee focused, and their specialist dreadnought is pretty good at denying psychic stuff around him, so which is a little bit counterintuitive, because you can basically make every word bearer's character a psyker through the Burning Law, but it's good against demons and the aforementioned Thousand Suns. The color scheme of the word bearers is a dark crimson with black shoulder pads and silver trim, and there's like two ways to achieve that dark crimson color scheme. First is a dark metallic crimson, which I use for my word bearers, or there's just a dark crimson. You can do both looks amazing. If you do an army pre-Istvan 3 or Istvan 3, you can also paint them in a dark grey with a silver trim, and that also looks really cool. The 18th Legion Salamanders, the Drakes of Nocturne, scour the battlefields of the heresy with their flamers, making heretics pay for their betrayal on Istvan 5. On the battlefield, the Salamanders, Sons of Vulcan, are close firefight specialists favoring flamers and melters over other weapons, while the indomitable fire drakes crush everything that hasn't been burned to a crisp by the fiery pyroclasts. If the Salamanders closed in on you, the chances for survival shrink exponentially. Rules-wise, the Salamanders increase their flamer weapons, increase the strength of their flamer weapons by 1, which is pretty nice. But they can't take destroyers or phosphex weaponry. Vulcan didn't believe in destroying the environment. Yeah, I know, burning people is very humane. Destroying the environment, he just believed in burning people and melting them to death. But they also have morale bonuses. They have problems getting into melee, but these are problems that you can counteract with having transports. And the Salamander's color scheme is they have green armor, not sea green like the Sons of Horus. They have green armor with black shoulder pads and brass trim. Also, there are flames overall their armor to adorn them. So, in reference to the Promethean cult, so when you have Salamanders and you like freehands, then you can put flames wherever you like on your Space Marines, because Salamanders did that. The 19th Legion Raven Guards are masters of asymmetrical warfare, infiltration, and decapitating strikes on enemy leaders. The Sons of Corax are silent killers with superhuman bodies. After they lured the enemy out, they overwhelm them with screaming jump packs and dark armor. In-game wise, the Raven Guard can infiltrate a lot of their units, while Terminators and jump pack troops gain Furious Charge, so that you can soften targets you want to see dead and finish them up in melee. The Raven Guard are also an Istvan 3 Legion, and through the heroic retreat of Corvus Corax during the Battle of Istvan V, actually a lot of loyalists made it off planet, made it off world to fight in the Shattered Legions. So Corvus Corax is actually pretty beastly. He also beat Lorga pretty bad in that battle. Um, so your armies can be built either way: melee heavy with a lot of jump packs, or very shooty. The Raven Guard special units fill both needs. Paint wise, the Raven Guard, they are not, well, they are into infiltration, so they don't have a bright yellow color scheme. They have a dark mutish black, but it isn't like pitch black. It's like kind of brighter black. Very conveniently, the Corvus black color from Games Workshop is exactly the color you want to paint them, if you ask me. Yes. So and they have like white helmets on sergeants and captains. So the Raven Guard, pretty neat legion, pretty cool. I like them. The 20th Legion Alpha Legion are espionage and counter-espionage specialists. Alpharius and Omegon has all his legionaries have surgery making them look like him. So to even enhance the espionage capabilities of the Alpha Legion, they are all made to look like their Primarch. Deceit and confusion are the Alpha Legion's initial tactics until they commit a huge amount of force to a battle. This tactic is called the harrowing. So they gain informations through espionage and deny information through counter-espionage, and then they strike you with all they have. So people always say, "Oh well, the Alpha Legion just does infiltration, or the Alpha Legion never openly fights." Yes, they do. They just gather information before they strike with full force. Gameplay-wise, the Alpha Legion and the Raven Guard are pretty similar, but they have the added bonus of choosing tactics before battle to make them work against certain enemies. So they don't get Furious Charge, but they can also infiltrate. And then you add like a mutable tactic that they get Tank Hunters or whatever, which is pretty nice. Or preferred enemy even. Also, one of their Rite of Wars allows them to use specialist units from other legions in their force, showing their mastery in infiltration and espionage. So if you use a special Rite of War, you can use Invictaris Suzerains, or Tyrant Siege Terminators, or Galvorbag, whatever you like, in one elite slot in that Rite of War. Paint-wise, the Alpha Legion is very diverse. I've seen like everything from a dark bluish metallic scheme to a dark purplish scheme with a blue tint, metallic teal, or just bright blue. Everything works, although the people tend to have the metallic blue color scheme. But basically everything I mentioned before also goes well. That has been it with the Pick Your Legion series. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure to suggest new ideas for videos in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share the video. Hydra Terminatus.